Before we begin, if you enjoy these videos, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and consider donating. Thank you. There is typically a new video at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. As the tribunal proceeded, it was ever evident that Ash's last lash would be a painful one. And painful it was indeed, this one delivered by the priest, the clergyman, as he swore him into the order, chanting something that Ash did not understand. A searing pain, no, a burning pain pulsing through him as the lash struck, as the whip struck, and a blue light turned red, which then receded within his backside, invisible, hidden beneath his lash wounds, before the priest spoke the last words of the incantation, and informed him that he may rise. As he was half bent over and gripping the table in front of him, the one with the candles, the gavel, and the striking base, of course. What sorcery had just occurred, Ash did not yet know, and it appeared that he would not know, though he would question Harken later about it. As Ash rose, the other members of the guild did not clap, but rather found their voices and began to speak loudly. A chant, perhaps another incantation. It did not seem that way, however, and at most it must have been ritualistic in nature. Ash had not been aware that any of this were to occur, though obviously many of the others, his brothers in arms and cloaks, had been aware of it, presumably. Perhaps not, it was hard to say. Regardless, Ash would ask Harken later, and as the chant slowed and the candles dimmed, those which were still alight, that is, Harken took hold of Ash, who was by this time exhausted, and took him warily into the next room where they spoke. The other men, the brothers, all left shortly thereafter. Harken, Ash said, speaking first. Yes, Ash? Said Harken, a sly grin on his face, his seriousness fading. Ash was one of them now, a brother of the Guild of Cloaked Men. Ash shook his head, sweating, as Harken held onto it and handed him his tunic, his shirt, in order that he might put it on to cover himself, but Ash declined. It'll just stain, Ash said, waving it away. No, said Harken, it won't. Ash looked at the man, shocked to discover, as he ran his hands across the parts of his back on which he had been struck and which did not bleed, that all the wounds were healed. His mind raced with thoughts. How? Ash asked. I will explain it to you later, Harken decreed. Put your shirt on and follow me. I have something more to show you. What is it? Ash inquired as he placed his shirt squarely upon his shoulders and began to walk alongside Harken down a long and grand corridor, of which Ash was quite familiar, as he strode along, barely able to keep up with Harken's giddied pace. It's something that I've neglected, he mentioned with a wave of his hand, though Ash had the sense that he was not to be shown it until after the fact of this tribunal, which he would later learn was called a novices' tribunal, but said nothing as he followed Harken deeper inside of the corridor. Endless, the corridor came to a screeching halt and onto a relatively small doorway which was arched and decorated with amazing design, the likes of which Ash could not recognize, though he tried with some difficulty to do so. It was no matter, as he was captured. His eyes were captured by the fact that something much more splendorous, one might say, or perhaps simply breathtaking, was in front of him. Ash entered the doorway. He was struck by its size and its beauty, its design and its scale, its awe-inspiring and even unlikely existence. What it was, Ash was quite clear. Yet Harken specified nonetheless. This is the great statue of Lorena Lucia, a symbol of, yes, a symbol of beauty and of temptation. Ash spoke nearly breathlessly. I know the stories. Then you know what she is, what she means, Harken said, but do you know of her meaning in regards to the guild? Ash did not look away from her white hair, as she was made of the purest of stone, the likes of which, too, Ash had never seen nor known. He spoke to Harken. I do not. We are permitted wives, even lovers, said Harken, but we are not permitted to dwell on them. Ash glanced at Harken. Do you think that is what I am doing? Perhaps, Harken spoke. Nonetheless, you must do away with your thoughts if you are to remain a member of our order. Ash nodded. They're done away with. Are they? He asked. Ash sighed a moment and looked away from the great statue and back to Harken. They will be. Swear it, Harken said more seriously. Ash nodded, his eyes not a bit wet. I swear it. Good, Harken said. Take one more look at her, as she is mesmerizing, and then come with me. You have more to show, asked Ash, taking one last glance at Lorena Lucia. Just one more, he stated. Ash nodded. What are we waiting for?